Please introduce yourself.
My name is Tamara with Banda, founder and CEO of EP1.
Nice. So you grew up around your father's firm, Mama Tata Construction. What was the specific moment on a job site where you realized that manual paperwork was actually hurting the
I realized it very early on, especially when jobs would get intense. When you're juggling from one job site to another job site, juggling quotations, invoicing, that's when it was easy to lose track of who's supposed to pay, what you're supposed to charge, and how you're supposed to charge. So it started really early on in my journey.
Okay, careless. Many builders feel like they are working 24/7 by not seeing the profit they expect. In your experience, how does a manual admin system cause financial loss?
Because you're dealing with outdated data, data that isn't really up to date, and your job as a construction owner is really just to focus on doing your job and trying to get as much projects as you can under control. And that becomes difficult with time and space, because now you really don't know how and when to charge or when the market changes. That's what our system was built for, to address these problems.
And your system is up to date. I mean, we live in a digital age and we need up to date.
Yes.
So, I mean, at 21, you could have gone into any tech field. Why did you choose to dedicate your career to the South African SME contractor?
It's always been a personal philosophy of mine to say, when there's pain, there's an opportunity. Getting personally affected by the constraints of what my father was dealing with and being his personal assistant hit at home, because if you don't get paid, if you lose track of a payment, you don't get paid. If you lose track of an invoice, you don't get paid. If you make a mistake on an invoice, you don't get paid. Finding a job is difficult, but keeping one is even more difficult.
I can hear the pain in your voice as you're talking right now. Can you explain your philosophy for us once again?
Where there's pain is opportunity.
That is a beautiful philosophy. Okay, so moving on. We often talk about the administrative chokehold. Can you explain what that means for a small construction firm trying to scale?
For a small construction firm trying to scale, paperwork needs to be a must. You need to make sure that your business is compliant, first of all, VAT compliant. You need to make sure all the necessary tax and VAT IDs are in place. And you also need to make sure that you, as a business owner, do whatever is in your power to make sure that you look as credible and professionally branded as possible. Because people trust credible branding. Not everybody is going to trust somebody that just comes with the pen and paper and say, here's a quote, unless you're the best of the business. And that's what it means when I say administrative chokehold. But it also goes deeper. I did mention that going from job site to job site was already difficult and losing track of your payments. But what I didn't mention is going job site to job site and the requirements change. One day you're dealing with the two-room bedroom. One day you're dealing with the toilet, and it's knowing how to price. And we don't know. and we lose time trying to get from place A to place B, just knowing how to price. So that's what my system was built for, to deal and to make sure that you have the power in your hands anytime, any place, from invoicing, from branding, and from pricing.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. It sounds like you are really passionate about this project and that you are trying to help small construction firms to scale. And that's nice to hear. And this takes me to our next question. Undercoating is a problem in the business. It is a silent killer in construction. So please tell me, how does EP1 use AI to make sure a builder is actually making a profit on every brick and bag of cement?
Mm. So our AI machine, as I'd like to call it, first of all, just to list what it does, it has a list of construction data using Google, basically. Google's a large database and is powered by Google Gemini. And it uses a ground searching feature which allows it at any time, at any place, to get access to thousands and thousands of billions of data sets in Google. Google's the largest search engine in the world. And what it does with the underquoting, to deal with the underquoting, it allows the user to be updated all from the home, everything from home. You're at home, you don't have to, you're in the office, you're on the road, you don't have to go to PPC Cement and check the price. You'll know at hand what you're dealing with. And our features allow not only that, but allow us to deal, I told you about the administrative chokehold, dealing with paperwork, and also time, solving with time. It also helps us voice to quote, a feature that we've recently implemented to be able for the user while they're on the road to quickly create the quote using that market engine. Yeah, so that's how it does it.
Mm-hmm. That honestly sounds like it is outside of my area of expertise, but I do trust that you know what you're talking about, and I do trust that you have the best intention at heart. So given that this is based in South Africa, we know that South African sites often have a terrible signal. How did you engineer the platform to make sure it doesn't fail a builder when they are out in the field?
Done it with allowing offline mobile access. So when the contractor, whoever's using our platform, the business owners using our platform, they'll be able, wherever they are, when there's no data, be able to create a quote right there and there. And when they're back online with the data, it'll be able to sync and the work will be saved. So it works for all case scenarios with my personal experience.
Oh, and this won't fail the builder when they are out in the field.
No. Won't fail. Of course, there will be some features that will be limited, but you need a quote, you need an invoice, and you don't have data, you can create it. And when you sync back, you send to our platform. You're allowed to send with professional branding to our platform, email sending, tracking, pricing, everything will be there.
Okay, that's honestly a nice feature because you do know that South Africa does have terrible signal and even negotiating and whatnot.
Yes.
But moving on, we know that material prices in South Africa can change overnight. How does your market intelligence tool help a contractor purchase materials at the right time?
We have it with our feature in the market intelligence, where it's able to tell you the market trends, the construction industry trends, the price trends, and exactly when you should expect things to become volatile. Yes, it does that by using, like I did mention, a large amount of data set, using past projections over the course of 5 years to be able to determine when and what will happen. So that's what it does. It really, it does a lot to be able to do that.
And would you say that it calculates the volatility precisely?
You know how we offset if precise it is not precise? You'll be able to see if it's an estimate or it's verified. And that's how we be able to do it. When it's verified, our AI machine will tell you this is verified and give you the list of suppliers where it's verified from. If it's an estimate, it will give you an estimate. And we offset by also allowing our contractors, those ones that use the market intelligence, to be able, when they go out, they go into PPC Cement, they go to a builder's warehouse, to be able to list it as a community, basically a community funded source, to be able to list it, tell the price so that everybody can help everybody.
That does sound nice, and again, I trust that this system of yours will work and it will change many lives. But my next question is to say, how does having live pricing data change the way a small contractor competes with the big guys?
The big guys have way more data than you ever imagine. The big guys know how to price. The big guys have people to help them to price. And the small contractor doesn't. Usually they're by themselves. If they have a team, they have a team that's busy. So that's how I want to restore the dignity of these small contractors so that they can compete on at least data, equal standing, to be able to make sure that the live pricing doesn't fail them. And like I said, how the live pricing works, it is Google verified. Using a large amount of data from various suppliers, it is able to tell exactly how much a product is. So the small contractors, small business owners, medium-sized business owners that don't have the time, the data, will be able to have that same competitive advantage. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we do have a regional pricing. We do have regional pricing where it's able to tell the difference whether you're in Cape Town, Durban, Limpopo. So the user won't have to worry about it only working in Johannesburg, it only working in Cape Town, and it only working in Durban. It works across the country.
Okay, here. So what I'm hearing is that the small contractors will be able to compete with the big guys, with the big boys.
Compete is a difficult word because, like I said, the big guys are the big guys for a reason. But stand with dignity, purchase with dignity, you will be able to do that and represent your business as best as you can. And that's what I promise, is that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, wherever you come from, whatever background you come from, whether you just started out, all we can promise from B4 Build is to allow you to stand with dignity and with respect so that you can be able to bring your project to life and focus on what you're good at doing, building. I know many business owners that say, hey, I'm Tamara, I don't know this admin stuff. I'm not an admin person. I don't know it. You'll be able to focus on what you're good at doing and build for the country. That's what the country needs.
The country does need more construction projects, after all, this is B4 Build. But moving on, I want to talk about values. So we think of accountability, clarity, and respect. Why are these the three pillars of EP1, and how do they show up in the software?
Accountability. I always promise the people that I meet, if a product doesn't work, if one feature doesn't work, I'll fix it. I'm responsible for what my outcome influences. And I respect the industry, I respect the builder, I respect my clients, I respect my future clients, because I respect the skill and the experience it takes, and I respect their experience on the field. My job is not to replace them, but my job is to tackle the undeserved market sector, which really hasn't been shown much tech support, and to be able to help them. So, and the last one is clarity. Clarity is for, I always promise to make my product as simple as possible, not complex, as simple so anybody can use it, and you really don't have to hire anybody or be a tech genius, because my dad was old, and I don't mean that in a way that insults the use of technology with old people, but I had to cater for that. He was an old man, and I had to cater for him and cater for everybody else, so that everybody, regardless, can use it. Yes, that's what it's for. And I hope to complete my mission, and I do promise to be as accountable as I can.
I like that you are, as you are saying, wants to be accountable. It's not something that you hear a lot of business owners say, especially in the beginning, and, with you taking accountability and saying that you want to be accountable, we can therefore say that, we can trust in your product and in your service. And I heard you talk about your father. Would you say that he is the inspiration behind people?
I'm literally, my phrase, my philosophy, it is pain, there's opportunity. My father's not only my biggest supporter, but he is my biggest pain point. So nobody wants to see their parents struggle. No black child wakes up and seeing their parents struggle and wants them to continue to struggle. That's what it's for. So out there, I have uncles and aunties, they own businesses, they're supporting their kids, but they don't have the right means and the right resources to be able to scale their business. So I just want to bridge that gap between the new and the old, the experience, and hopefully being trust, to be able to make sure that everybody that uses my product gets a good service. And like I said, I promise to always improve it and be in it. This is a project that I take very seriously.
So you could even say that you are dedicating your life's work to this.
Definitely, being as young as I am, I don't know if I mentioned it, only being 21, raises a lot of eyebrows. So, why, how, why? But it's something that, like I said, I'm a builder's son. I come from on-site. I came from making my hands being dirty, me carrying a ladder, to this. So that's I can say for now, this is my life's mission.
I love to hear that. Honestly, wish you, success, wish you many blessings,
Thanks.
Wish that, this just indeed become the driving force for construction in South Africa. And hopefully, they can change the landscape for construction in South Africa.
Sure.
And I love how, in how you describe your product, you describe it as essentially leveling out the playing field, with the small contractors and the big guys. And I think that is something that, the small contractors will appreciate the most. But, moving on to the last question, right, for this interview. What is your ultimate vision for growth? Where do you see the digital construction site in Africa 5 years from now?
Let me start with the second point, the latter point. Where do I see the digital in 5 years to come? In Africa, we have the youngest population. So I expect innovation, I expect driven people to come about, and I expect people like me to change the landscape forever. And it is not only going to continue in 5 years, it's going to go to 10 years, because 5 years is a short term. It's short term. But I do expect the construction industry to see more growth, more prosperity, and I do see myself driving that growth and prosperity. And that one, I promise. And what was the first question? The first part of the question?
The ultimate vision for B4Build.
The ultimate vision. My ultimate vision for B4Build is to be the digital heartbeat of the African industry. That is my vision, and that's my mission, and that's something I'm gonna make come to life. That's something I promise.
It's like I said, wish you, blessings, wish you success,
Thanks.
hope you achieve your vision and your mission, and, hopefully we can see this product changing the digital construction side in Africa, not just in South Africa,
in Africa.
And not only in Africa, but globally, hopefully this product can expand and hopefully, gain traction for people overseas. This is a very unique product, and it does have the potential to be one of the best out there. And I mean, right now we are looking at a young genius right before our eyes, a young future millionaire, as I'd like to say it. And I just like to say, thank you for gracing us with your presence and, giving us this opportunity to interview the next Steve Jobs of construction. Thank you for, giving us your time. Your time is money, and yes, we have come towards an end of the interview, but thank you. Is there any last words that you'd like to say?
I mean, thank you for your kind words. I mean, I don't get those kind words on a daily, so I'm blushing. But my last words is that where there's pain, there's opportunity. And any young person that's out there, and like me, don't be afraid to go out there and change the game. Don't be afraid to go out there and disrupt the market. And that's what this African child is promising to do. And I want to see more of us doing it. I want to see more of us helping our parents, our uncles and aunties out there to be able to achieve this goal. And I promise to always be loyal to my customers. You guys will be my family. Thank you.
Nice to hear. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Tamara and Banda for B4Build. Thank you and see you next time.